Episode 13 of the Perth podcast.
Unlucky number 13.
Well, it can't get any worse, can it? Let's face it, you know. I mean, the only way this could get worse if we tried to do a Nirvana cover about a girl. I mean, that's about the only way this could go wrong.
Yeah, that's very true. And sing it completely out of our depth, yes.
On YouTube and put it out there for some reason. Well done, Puddle of Mud. High five.
I can see why it's gone viral, but it's for all the wrong reasons.
Yes, for all the wrong reasons. They say there's no such thing as bad press, but I think if you're a singer, this is pretty bad press.
Yeah.
Talking to music, hit the button. We are still in lockdown, shock horror. I think we all saw that coming, didn't we?
Yeah, it's not going away anytime soon.
No. When they said it's another 3 weeks, I'm like, well, yes, of course it is, but, you know, whatever. Death rates seem to have levelled off, which is all very well, unless you know someone who's actually died. But we're getting there. Yeah. We're still here. We're still ticking over, and we're still in our houses. I've never painted so many fences in my life. Every fence I own has been painted.
That's like Andrew Smith from the American Football Cast. He used to tell me that he's watered his garden about 5 or 6 times today. Just watered the grass.
Well, you know, the paint I'm using, I bought 2 years ago to paint the fences. So yeah, that's how long I've been putting that one off.
Yeah, well, it's done now.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. It's almost done now. I've got like 3 panels left to do, and then I'm like, oh, now what? So I can totally see my grass getting relayed or something. You know, we'll see what happens.
You want to come and fix the grass on my front garden?
No, that wouldn't be social distancing, so I couldn't possibly do that.
I would, so I'd be in my house watching.
I believe that. What have you been up to then? What's there to report?
Well, it's same as most people, to be honest. Is trying to find those social interactions online in any way possible. So discovered a new game. On you go.
No, I was going to say on that basis though, I took on that house party app thing on the phone, and I've been hooking up with a couple of my friends that way and playing the wee games and stuff. It's actually all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good fun. The quiz is okay, but the drawing one and the what am I thing, they're quite fun as long as your connection's fast.
Well, we had that problem. One of the guys, we think his son was in the other room playing Xbox, and we got a lot of that going on, which isn't good when you're trying to play a quiz. You're like, what? What did you say?
And then they get raging because you're not understanding them.
Well, exactly. And we all had a beer, you know, we just had a wee beer and we had a wee quiz, and then we left it, and that was fine. But I'm not a huge fan of the fact that anyone can just join. You know, they can just jump in without a warning or anything, because I literally turned on the software and there was one of my mates, and I'm like, hi? Which is a bit freaky, but there we go.
Yeah. I think, can you not have them like closed or something like that, and then it's invite only at that point?
Well, I think once you're in, yes, but I hadn't even done it. I just launched the app and suddenly there was one of my friends, and I'm like, hi, what are you doing here? Which was a bit weird.
No, yeah, so I'd been just like trying to find new games on the Xbox to play. Me and my mate Chen and Jim have been playing Payday 2, which is quite fun, but very frustrating. But I like the randomness of the level setup as well.
Yeah.
And last night, actually, so Tuesday night, my mate Chin organised a Skype quiz. So we had a little sort of mini pub quiz over Skype. There was
nice.
7 of us on it, and it was movies from the 80s.
Oh man, I should have been all over that.
Well, I'd forgotten there was even a theme until he said, right, here we go, 80s movies, and I was like, oh no.
Did you just answer everything Back to the Future? Back to the Future? Back to the Future?
Well, actually, no. E.T. was my go-to answer, and it turned out it was right for one of the questions. Very first one. But no, I ended up coming joint second with my mate Alan, who's nice. He's my heroic paramedic friend. And Forgan from the Science Fiction podcast, he won it.
Nice one.
And the forfeit for all the losers was the winner got to pick a film from Netflix, and we all have to watch it this week.
Oh no, what is it?
So he's been watching Peter Rabbit with his daughter, so he made us all watch that.
Oh, well, it could be worse. There's a lot worse things on Netflix than that.
I've seen bits of Peter Rabbit, and it's made me chuckle, so I'm quite looking forward to sitting Emily down and making her watch.
Then, is it?
No, it's not. It looks like quite a decent film, actually.
Yeah, like you could have made you watch The Kardashians or something like that. I don't even know if that's on there, but it's not punishment.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Anything like
Not
that.
fun.
I would have quit the friendship.
It's all over, man. Sick of you. We've been playing a lot of Grand Theft Auto, just doing heists and stuff like that on the PC. So four of us on the heists.
That sounds fun.
Which is good fun. I don't know if you play GTA? No?
I haven't, but I know from the old games that the driving mechanics are a lot better than on Payday 2.
Oh, man. GTA 5 is just incredible. Like, it's got everything in it. Racing, shooting, the heists are just incredible fun. They're challenging. It's teamwork. There's a storyline behind it. It's fantastic fun.
I'm sure it's on Game Pass, actually. At least it was. I might have a wee look and see.
Have a look. It is worth it, definitely. Cool. But beyond that, of course, not much else. I've got a wee bit of work in, not much, but I have been working on the possibility of animating us for the podcast. So that'll be quite interesting. And Stobie, you've already seen a couple of previews of what that could be. Obviously, it's a lot of work. I'm just trying to figure out whether I can use it for my business or not, using Adobe Character Animator. Yeah. So yeah, watch this space. We'll see what happens.
If nothing else, we'll do like a 5-second preview.
At the very most, yeah, absolutely we will. Things that have been happening in Perth, of course, there's not much. I was in town the other day, they're getting some dog food, and the town is for the most part quiet. I went to Goodfellow and Stephen and bought some sausage rolls and pies because they were open, and I really fancied something different from the supermarket. Mm-hmm. So that was nice. But they've got the splash guards for their faces. They've got all that sort of stuff up there, and they've got big tape saying to not cross this line. So it's quite safe enough, and people were respecting the don't come in if there's people in rule. So, but it is weird seeing that place where there's cafe but nobody there, empty, hopeless.
Yeah.
And almost in darkness as well, because they're trying to save money, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then we went for a wander back down. I say me. I was picking up some equipment from my office. I went back to the car and drove away, and it was just a bit weird. A couple of the pubs are boarded up, which just looks a bit strange. There's just not a lot going on. But the one thing I noticed was the Twatams, not while I was in town, but digitally have reinstated their Sunday socials. So they did it online.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I caught a wee bit of it, and yeah, it's quite well done. And do you know what? Kudos for trying that, for actually making an effort and keeping that going.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what we need. And the thing is, people remember that when it comes to places reopening again,
Oh God, yeah, and that's exactly what they need to do, is put themselves on the map, isn't it? And say, look, we're still here, we will be here, let's get ready.
I guess one of the concerns that people will have is whether you're the business owner or a customer, is whether the shop will reopen again or the pub will reopen again.
It's a massive concern just now, and everyone's going for the grants and stuff. Some are rejected, some are accepted. It's just a bit of a mess. I think everyone thinks it's a given that you get that money, but it's not. There's a couple of hoops to jump through. And I know people that have had it rejected through little reasons, like maybe they've registered the business under their own name, but they trade under the business name, and that's rejected the grant application. So it's not a given. We're not just being handed out money as a business. It's not just here's £10,000, move on, son. It's not like that at all. So it's hard times all round.
Yeah.
And of course, social places like pubs will probably be the last to reopen.
Yeah, well, that's also the concern.
I mean, I think restaurants have a better chance because of the sort of natural social division there that you can achieve. But a pub is a bunch of folk grouped inside with no control. At least at a restaurant, you're sat down round a table or whatever. There's a level of control there you can keep. But pubs, don't fancy that.
But having that online presence and just keeping things going online just gives that bit of sort of almost subconscious reassurance that they're okay.
Yeah. And sanity, I think, for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's what we're needing.
Yeah, but yeah, busy. So the other thing we need to talk about as well, because I've just looked at how long we've been recording already, and geez, it's getting on. So Hollie from High Beat Digital, what's been going on there, Stobie?
So Hollie's been running Peretz Life since January last year, I think it was.
Which is a Facebook group, isn't it? An online
it's a Facebook page. Yeah, I got brought on board with that. I want to say around maybe April time last year, just helping mostly promote the Fair City Podcast Network stuff, but also helping if I spot a little local articles here and there, local things to share. We've been sharing on that and been building up the presence on there. And so Peretz Life launched its website last weekend, and and it's got your picture, was all over the cover photo of the page.
Yeah, no one wants to see that.
No, they really didn't. It was a nice picture of the Forth Bridge, though. And so that started up last week, and Hollie's been interviewing local people about their experiences going on at the moment and what they've been doing during lockdown.
Brilliant.
So here's Hollie with a bit about the Peretz Life website.
Hello, Perth Podcast. So my name's Hollie, and I just thought I'd stop by to tell you a little bit about this new website that I built that you might have seen. We've just launched Peretz Life, which is www.perthlifescot.co.uk, and we're running some really cool articles on local people about how they're getting on during the pandemic, what they're up to, what they've been eating, how they're coping with their mental health. So we're discussing some really cool topics. It's really focusing on arts and entertainment, lifestyle and culture. And I'm hoping that people are going to love it. So yeah, please come over and give us a read. Tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, give us some feedback on the website. And there's also a couple of interviews with two really cool guys from the Perth podcast, David Stobie and Ian Potter. So definitely worth a read. And thanks for all your support to everybody that's supported so far. And see you soon.
Thanks for that, Hollie. What else have we got?
That's a good question. Probably not hellish much. No, actually, I had a wee discussion with Liam from the band Nishima the other day there, remotely again, obviously, like we're doing now. And he was nice enough to jump online. We had a wee conversation about the new video and song that they've brought out, which is a cover version that I think most people will know, but done in a metal/rock fashion. So here's an interview with Liam and myself. Liam, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's good to speak to you. It's been a while.
It has been a while, and it's really weird not being able to see you face to face, because that's pretty much always how you and I converse, isn't it?
Yep.
So Liam and I go way back. I've shot a few music videos for Neshiima back in the day, and Liam is a very, very, very nice chap. I'm sure you won't mind me saying that on here. And we met at Asda, didn't we? We used to work at Asda together.
We did. You were always a gentleman, and you've been nothing short of a gentleman since.
Well, things have gone downhill now, so we'll take it as it comes. No, thank you. But no, we met there, and we went separate ways for a while. Never really spoke to each other. Then fate brought us back together again. Yeah. So, Liam, your band, tell us a little bit about Neshiima.
We're a 4-piece. We write heavy rock, I guess. Previously we've classed ourselves as metal, but there's definitely like a rock, more of a rock sound to what we do. It is
quite mixed though, isn't it? I totally understand how difficult that question is because of the amount of different styles that you throw into your stuff.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's definitely a metal element, but it's definitely kind of pop rock, really, more than anything, with a little bit of hip hop and electronica thrown in there for good measure.
And a bit of screaming and a bit of rap and a bit of everything, isn't it? And it's pretty much you doing all of the above vocally, isn't it?
Vocally, yeah. I mean, Craig used to, like on the earlier recordings, Craig would come and record vocals, and there's chat about him coming in to record. To record like extra harmonies and things like that on the new material that's coming out for the album, but we're yet to organise that. So yeah, I mean, it's in recent years it's been myself that's recorded all vocal, and live I've done most of the vocal, with Craig doing the bits that I physically cannot,
because you're too busy doing other things as well. Yeah. And of course, recently-ish, you used to play guitar in the old tracks. You've kind of put that down now, haven't you, for the playing live stuff? You've put your guitar down.
I have. So originally, as you know, Callum was in the band, and
the guitarist.
The guitarist. So Callum played guitar and I played guitar. and then it got a little bit too technical for me. And eventually Ross...
3 chords instead of 2, I hear you.
That's it. So eventually Ross came along, so there was Callum and Ross, and then Callum's sadly no longer in the band. Yeah, we love Callum to bits, but since his departure, we quite happily are working as well as a 4-piece.
Yeah.
With me not playing guitar, and we just chuck what we can on the backing track.
And have you found that easier then? Like as a front man, are you finding it easier to be a front man rather than trying to play at the same time?
It's kind of a lot easier to breathe. It's weird. You know, running around and just vocalizing, you'd think that it would be more tiring, but I kind of found that I had to have more control when I was stood there playing a guitar, because you have to think about playing guitar and singing. But
right.
Definitely more free reign, and you can think more about what's coming next vocally. So, yeah.
And speaking of coming next, that's a really good lead on here. So Neshiima have just released the single that I mentioned in the intro, and I find it fascinating because, of course, you're all in isolation. You can't see each other. And just for clarification here, the rest of your band live in Glasgow while you live in Perth.
They do, yep.
So there's a separation anyway, but what an achievement to actually release a single without meeting each other, without being in the same room. I find that fascinating. So can you tell us a little bit about what brought that up? I mean, you're a creative person. Obviously, there was a way you had to get that out. You know, creativity never stops flowing. So can you tell us a little bit about making this single?
Okay, so it's a funny one because the single, most of it was already recorded. We actually, maybe a year ago, we sat down and we recorded it. Previous to that, we actually had been interviewed numerous times and asked, if you were to record a song, what would you record? So we played around with ideas like a Prayer by Madonna, various other ideas, but this one seemed to be one that we all enjoyed recording. Fast forward to now, we've been chatting about releasing something, and we thought, you know what, it's a song that a lot of people, because it's it's an old pop song. I say old, it's not really that old, is it? 1999, I think it was released.
Like me, old.
Like me, yeah. So so it's a song that most people know, and it's quite an uplifting song. And we thought, just a break from the norm. Let's release something that's not ours, not our own material, a cover. And like I say, we had it sat there for so long, and Ross has the same. He has the ability to record his guitars at home.
Nice.
Craig had already tracked bass for it, I think, on the original. There is bass in there anyway. And the same
He's not just for show then.
And the same goes for drums as well. So it's the way that we normally in a scenario like this would track drums is to send a MIDI file. So,
right.
A lot of the drums are samples of, what Danny has used previously on the recordings. And they're just spliced up and used as MIDI notes, essentially, on a keyboard.
Yeah.
So that's basically how we pieced this together, was MIDI notes for the drums. The guitar recording and everything was resent, and I mixed it in with the existing track.
Nice.
So it's all possible, if musicians have the ability to just record at home, whether it just be the direct input sound of the strings, and then it can be reamped in a studio or whatever. It's it's absolutely doable.
It's quite incredible, isn't it, how far things have come from having to go to a studio to do all this to, I will just do it at home on GarageBand. I'm not saying you use GarageBand, but you know what I mean? There's possibilities out there that just were never there before. Tech has come so far. Yeah. So I think without further ado, what's the track? What is the song?
It's a song that was made famous by the Backstreet Boys in 1999, and it is called Larger Than Life.
I've been running high when you're screaming my name.
So Liam, you live in Perth, as I say, and you actually live in Perth city centre, and I think it's only fair to talk about the effects of the coronavirus and the lockdown and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
How are you finding the town? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I live on the high street, so I see, I'll step outside my front door and I can see all the way down the high street. And normally on, any given day of the week in a normal scenario, you can see plenty of people walking about the high street, even up to 8 o'clock at night. And there's a few people still walking around.
Roughly until Costa closes, you mean?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, yeah. So, now I'll step outside my front door and there's literally maybe one or two people maximum. When you say one or two people, you think there's a handful of people. No, one or two people literally going to or from work, or they're walking the dog, or they're heading out to do some exercise. And to be honest, it's thankful that people are listening to the advice of the government in this scenario, because it's absolutely for everyone's benefit, isn't it?
Oh yeah, we're all in this together for the first time. Properly, we are all in this together. Yeah. And I think surreal's the right word for it, isn't it? It's a bizarre feeling. I mean, I was in earlier on picking some gear up from the office that I needed, and I hadn't been in the office for weeks, and it felt really, really odd being in there.
It's
almost
important.
naughty.
yeah. It's kind of you put the nail on the head there when you said about being in this together. A lot of people are suffering mentally with it, and that's one of the reasons why we did release the track, because we thought it's quite uplifting, etc. at this point, but with it being we are with us all being in the same situation, having been at home or whatever, you might be at home by yourself, but your neighbours and the people next door to them, and whatever, all around the world, we're literally all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's just good to remind ourselves that, really, we're all holding each other's hand right now and hoping for the best. Regardless of how isolated we are. That's, for me, I've tried to keep that in mind. I'm fortunate people next door to them, the people next door to them, and whatever, all around the world, we're literally all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's just good to remind ourselves that, really, we're all holding each other's hand right now and hoping for the best. Regardless of how isolated we are. That's, for me, I've tried to keep that in mind. I'm fortunate that I am not by myself. I've got Sammy here, and it's wonderful to have human company, but there are people who don't, and it's important to keep that contact, especially with like social media and stuff like that. you know.
And it is so easy now, and I think that on the basis of that people are doing it more. I mean, I spent an hour on the phone to my dad trying to get him to install Skype, which isn't easy with a man who's 82 years old, trust me. But we got there, and of course the look in his face, this magic device showing, you know, his son who's nowhere near him on the video at the end of it was all worth it. And I think it's very easy just to forget and let it lapse in everyday life, never mind when we're in an isolation situation. Which is, of course, for us unheard of. It's our saga, isn't it? It's our lifetime saga. Yeah. But yeah, we do need to reach out and remember people who are alone and maybe don't have someone checking in on them. You know, we're lucky we do have that, and other people might not have that. So, and a lot of people, of course, used to go to the shops for that chat or to the pub or whatever it is, and they can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
They're lost. So. But yeah, it's, we'll get out of it though. You know, this too shall pass, as they say.
Yeah, agreed. It will, and we'll come out of it stronger than we were before. The world will not be the same again, and you know, a lot of people have said that, but hopefully,
no, it can't be.
Hopefully,
yeah, that's it. Yeah. Move forward. So that's the one. Yeah. Right, I think we'll play a wee bit more of your track and let you get on with your night. So thanks for, I'd say coming along, but thanks for hooking up wirelessly with me.
Very, very welcome, mate.
Yeah, we'll catch up with you again hopefully soon when, you know, we can actually do things in life.
I miss gigs.
Absolutely. Liam, thanks very much, buddy.
No worries, Ian. Good to speak to you.